So summer is fast approaching and not everyone can afford a tanning bed or wants to be in a tanning bed or whatever it may be, but we all, at some points in our life, want to look a little sun-kissed. So in today's video, I'm going to be covering everything from makeup to some wardrobe pieces that you can pick out to kind of help yourself feel and look a little bit more tan. So let's get right into it. So I'm going to be trying out the BH Cosmetics foundation for the first time today. I will have a wear test up on it soon. Stay tuned for that. Subscribe if you are not subscribed so that you don't miss it. Okay, so right now my face is pretty fair, but normally I have been tanning, which I actually have self-tanner on right now, which is why probably my neck and my chest look a little bit funky. So don't mind that. I'll be washing that off later. Normally I have been self-tanning, so that's a really easy way obviously to get a nice bronze glow. But if you do not self-tan and you're a little bit more on the fair skin side and you just kind of want that warmer look to your body and your face, whenever it comes to your face, you can just do a foundation that's slightly darker and just start with a very thin layer all over the skin. Like I'll kind of show you how I would apply this if this was too dark for my skin, which this one might actually be. I haven't really tested this color yet. This is the shade 217 Sand. Take a brush, not a sponge, and start with just a small amount of product. So I'm kind of just taking a little bit on my hand here, and we're just gonna start to just apply a light layer all over the skin. So I'm just really buffing that into the skin. And this is even good if you self-tan and you don't tan your face. Start with a sheer layer. Don't go in with like a heavy layer of foundation that's like 5 shades darker than your face, you know what I'm saying? Because then it's not gonna do anything other than look orange. So I'm just really buffing that into the skin. This is the Sephora Pro Core Diffuser brush. I love this brush. So I'm just being really generous in the buffing, but not generous in the amount of product that I'm using. And then you can go in and you can layer it up in the areas that you need it, but it doesn't look like you applied a dark foundation. I'm gonna go in and cover up a little bit more of these breakouts over here. So I'm gonna take the Morphe sponge. I just got this today as well. So then I'm just gonna press that over any areas that I need some coverage. Normally I would blend this down my neck, but since I'm wearing my tan right now, you guys will see the final product of me just blending it down my neck, which you definitely want to do if you are fair skinned. So I always use a peach corrector. This one's going to be lighter than my skin tone. This is the Lancome Tanti Dole in the shade 110. It's not technically a corrector, but I use it as a corrector because it has a really peachy undertone. And we're just going to take a tiny amount and press that right underneath. If you're not somebody who normally uses a corrector, you don't really feel like you need one, you can totally skip this step, obviously. All right, so now let's take this concealer. This will be my first time using this concealer. I'm gonna take the Morphe sponge here. That is really freaking light. That's like way lighter than I thought it was gonna be, but we're just gonna roll with it. And then I'm gonna take that down the center of the nose as well. And then just kind of bringing this out a little bit wider on the jawline here. So I just applied it to my under eyes, the forehead, down the center of the nose, Cupid's bow, and chin. And I kind of went a little bit wider with the chin because my chin tends to get narrow. Sometimes I feel like I smile and then my chin just looks like super pointy, you know? So whenever I think of summer like makeup looks, I always think of really bronzy but like fresh faced at the same time. So I don't go like super full coverage, so I don't have to worry about like touching it up as much as I would if I had like a perfectly like full coverage cakey face foundation on, you know what I'm saying? But now you can see like that concealer has kind of blended with the foundation in between. So now we just kind of have like this really good natural dimension going on. Oh my gosh, I just got some freaking black eyeshadow on my face because I blew on my palette to blow the black eyeshadow off, and then it blew back on onto my chin, and now I have this weird gray cast. Okay, that's wow, I'm like such a professional makeup artist. Okay, let's apply a little bit of lip balm. This is the Image Skincare or Medic Sheer Pink balm. I always put lip balm on while I'm doing the rest of my face, so that way it sits and it sinks into the skin, so that way by the time I get to my lip products, my lips are really nice and juicy and not flaky and gross, and they're just ready to go. All right, and this is the Laura Mercier Loose Translucent Setting Powder. So this is kind of like a light form of baking. It has really helped my makeup to stay so freaking well, especially during hot summer months. Oh my gosh. You don't have to do the full baking routine, but just like packing on a really good amount of that loose translucent powder in the areas where your foundation and concealer tend to wear off throughout the day helps so much. Like there's a reason that everybody is on the baking game. I'm gonna go off of camera and I'm actually going to do my brows really quick just to save a little bit of time, and then we'll come back and we will finish off the face. So I just applied a new brow product. I'm trying the Anastasia Dip Brow and I'm filming a wear test on it right now. So whenever that video is up, I'll link it right here. That's why my brows are looking a little bit intense today. Let's do some bronzer to get kind of like that more like bronzy, glowy bronze goddess look. I'm actually going to take a shimmery bronzer. This is the Tarte Park Avenue Princess, and I'm gonna take the Farrah brush in 50F, and we're just gonna start to apply that. I'm doing one that has a little bit of shimmer to it because I like the glow that it gives to the skin, and it's really important whenever you're trying to build up that really natural bronzy look that you take a small amount of product at a time, just like, again, like the foundation, and we're just slowly building that up. So I'm taking that right underneath. And then also that you don't have it in a hard line and that you're kind of diffusing it all over the face. I'm basically just following the natural recession of my bone structure. So whether that's under the cheekbone, at the back of my forehead where my skull starts to recede, skull, I know, very technical, the sides of the nose, and then underneath. So all receding areas, that's where I'm applying my bronzer. I'm gonna apply a little bit on the tip of the nose, but I'm gonna do that more with my bronzing blush. It just gives like this really natural tan look to it because sometimes your nose will absorb a little bit more tan naturally, and so I'll show you that in just a second. And then whenever I'm applying it to the forehead, I make sure to bring it down quite a bit. Like you don't want it just up here on the forehead because then you don't really see it. You'll notice that if you bring it farther down, it looks a lot more natural. And then taking that same brush and just kind of tapping, I'm just gonna tap it right along the sides of the nose really lightly. Nothing too intense, no intense contouring or anything like that, just to kind of start to get that illusion or that depth. And then I'm just taking a light amount right underneath the jawline. So now let's do some blush. This is a totally random thing, but I've totally been digging it. This is from a brand called TG Cosmetics. I actually got it in my cosmetology bag whenever I went to cosmetology school. And this is the Lovely Duo Glow Blush. If you really want this one, you should be able to get it online. However, you can always just go for a bronzy blush, something that's kind of more in like this orangey tone. I mostly use this side of it, but I'll mix a little tiny bit of the darker side as well. But this one does have a little bit of a pink undertone, which you'll see as I apply it. So it's not just like a second bronzer, but it like kind of is. So I'm just applying that right onto the apple of the cheek, as you can see, and blending that over the bronzer as well. So this is what I really like to use to apply to my nose. So I'll just take whatever's left over on my brush. I don't take anything extra on my brush, and I just brush that right on the tip of the nose. It gives a nice glow and also kind of gives like this bronzy look to the nose. Okay, so now I'm just gonna take the Too Faced Shadow Insurance. I'm just taking that on a small brush that needs to be washed. I'm just gonna apply that all over the eyelid. It's super important that during the summer, if you have any kind of oily eyelids at all, that you use an eye primer, because this will help to keep those oils from breaking down. But before we move on to the eyeshadow fully, we gotta apply our glow. So here I have this Ofra Star Island highlighter, and I'm just gonna apply that right onto the tops of the cheekbones. I keep saying that this is an e.l.f. brush. This is a BH Cosmetics 126 brush. Especially for like a summer look, I really like to add the glow, but I like to add it in a way that's super diffused and soft, and it's not just like a strobing glow, you know what I'm saying? I kind of go for like a natural beach, like a beach babe glow. I don't know. If your face was a little bit wet from the ocean water, this is what it would look like. And then a little bit down the center of the nose and the forehead, just kind of tap. Clearly I've done this a million times, so I'm like, do a little bit on the chin and then the Cupid's bow. So we're not like strobing, but we have a good kind of like glistening ocean water glow. Does that even make sense? Salt water, because we could be sweating as well. What am I even saying? We have our eye primer on. Now I'm going to set the eye primer with a little bit of setting powder, and I'm just gonna use the same sponge and the same setting powder. This really helps for everything to last. And I have to set my under eyes really well and my eyelids really well, because otherwise my mascara will smudge like nobody's business. I don't know, I think it's just because I have a little bit of deeper set eyes, and so my lashes touch everything. Okay, so for our Beach Babe eyeshadow look, I'm going to take my destroyed Anastasia Soft Glam. It broke during travel, and had to try to kind of fix it a little bit, but only partially fixed it. But anyways, I'm going to take the burnt orange shade here. This is really the perfect palette for like a bronzy look. Such a good everyday palette too, but still gives you options to like amp it up with some of the darker shades that it has in there. But I'm taking the Sephora Pro tapered crease brush, looks like this. And I'm just taking that burnt orange shade, and we're just gonna start to brush it into the crease. It's really gonna be a super simple eyeshadow look. We're not going for dark and smoky whatsoever. We're just going for bronzy definition basically in the eyes. And I'm just gonna tap a very light amount, just like little teeny tap into the, that's the sienna shade. And I like the red undertone that it has. I feel like it'll give it a really nice bronzy look. Yes, like that. That's the thing, is that it like always looks like nothing on camera, but in real life you're like, okay, we're getting a little heavy, you know? You'll notice I'm just using like such light pressure, like just almost barely touching the eye. That will give you that really nice soft blend. And it totally does not have to be this palette. Just get like a good bronzy shade. So you could even use your bronzer if you wanted to, and then something a little bit deeper to go on top of it that has a good warm undertone. You'll be totally fine. Literally only gonna use like 2 brushes for this whole eye look. So I'm gonna take that burnt orange shade again and just brush it right underneath. Just tap, tap, very small amount, very soft and diffused. If you like really want to control your product, you never want to like dig your brush in there. Just again, take a small amount at a time, slowly build it up. It's just like life, you know? You can't take on everything at once. You just gotta take a little bit at a time, and then slowly you'll get to where you wanna go, you know? So I bring it down to a point to where I'm actually putting my brush underneath my eyeball. Like you can see the shape of my eyeball there. That's about how I gauge how far to bring it down. So that will give it that really natural depth. And then tap just a teeny bit into the sienna shade again and brush that a little bit closer to the lash line. Super simple. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just gonna take my highlighter. This is the Ofra highlighter, just any either champagne shade, any highlighter that you currently own, just anything that has like a nice light shimmer to it. So I'm just gonna take my highlighter on that same brush I brushed it off, and I'm going to apply a light amount just to get a little bit of glow right in here. Not intense, I'm not spraying my brush with like Fix Plus or anything like that. I'm kind of blending it over the crease a little bit just to give it like this overall softness. And then I'm taking a little bit more of that, and I'm just gonna pop that right onto the inner corners. Again, still using the same brush. I'm just kind of using the corner of it to really get it tight into that corner. Okay, so then next, this is one of my favorite things to do. I don't know why, but I've just been like so into brown eyeliner recently. So I'm going to take the Pat McGrath, this is the Permagel eyeliner in the shade Black Coffee. So it's just like a nice dark brown. And I like doing a brown, especially for like a bronze goddess look, because it's so much softer rather than like a stark black. So I'm gonna take that. It just kind of adds like the soft smokiness to it without it really looking smoky. So I'm just taking it on the side there, and I'm just following that lash line. Me personally, I'm going to do just a tiny little baby wing extending out, because for me, my eyes are a little bit more narrow set. So doing a small little wing helps to extend them and bring them out a little bit more. See how it just kind of adds like that nice lift to the eye, but it doesn't look like really stark or harsh or dramatic or anything like that. Now I'm gonna take this is the Perricone MD. This is the No Mascara mascara. I really like this one because it's like an almost black brown. So it's a little bit softer as well. You could totally just do a black mascara. This one kind of pulls black to me, but I know that it's a little bit softer. I do really like this one for a fresh face bronzy look, just because it keeps it more focused on the bronziness and not so much on like the drama of the eyes, you know? I'm just gonna apply that to the bottom lashes first, and then to the top lashes. This mascara is really not much for building volume. It just kind of gives like this wet look to the lashes, which is why they call it like the no mascara mascara. But the last thing I'm going to do other than my lips is actually just apply a pair of little half lashes. These ones are well loved. These are the lash accents from Eylure, and I freaking love these. I think I've gone through like 3 pairs of them. I wear them all the time. Because what they do is they basically only sit on the outer portion of your eye. So first of all, they're much more comfortable. And then secondly, they just kind of give this really soft, natural lift to the eye. You could totally stop here and just apply your lip products and be done. That is totally fine. I always use the Duo Brush On Lash Adhesive. This one is the Duo side, the Duo. But this one has black and clear on both sides. I normally just go for the clear because they perform about the same, honestly, and the clear is just like, I don't have to worry about it if I get it anywhere other than where it's supposed to go. So I just brushed one set of lashes, and now I'm going to brush the other ones, just a thin strip. These ones have been used before, so they have some dried glue on them already. But then I just pick them up with tweezers because it gives me a lot more control. And then I just pop them on the outer corner of my eye, resting them right onto that lash line there. The tweezers help because the tweezers keep your hand out of your line of sight so you can see what you're doing rather than trying to see what you're doing while your fingers are in your view. You know what I'm saying? And plop it down. So now, as you can see, you can kind of see that lash band there especially since I have dried glue on it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take my eye pencil and I'm gonna try to go over the edge of that lash band to disguise it a little bit more. Sometimes after I apply my lashes, I'll just go back in with a little bit of mascara right here on the inner corners just to build a little bit more volume and separation there. And now it's time for the lips. Okay, so this is the Buxom Plump Line Lip Liner in the shade Hush Hush. Oh my gosh, I've recommended this to so many people. I've gotten lots of people to buy it because this is just the perfect nude for so many people. Not for everyone, but for a lot of people, this is like the perfect nude because it's like rosy, but it's still nude, but it kind of has a mauve-y undertone. It's just like the best of all the worlds. So I'm just going to start right underneath. Just kind of round that out. I always define the center of the lips first because everything connects to the center of the lips. And then just bring that up. And then connect. And then I start to feather it in towards the center of the lip, but I'm not filling in the center of the lip completely. You can if you want, that's totally fine, but I'm gonna leave a little space for it to stay a little bit more pale in the center there. Tell me that's not the perfect rose. It's so pretty. Okay, so then, guys, this is the perfect nude. I'm telling you, this is the perfect nude combo. I'm taking the Sephora We. This is the Lip Stories in the shade We, or number 3. Oh my gosh, this stuff is so good, and it's so cheap. Just pop that right over. Very similar tone. But then I'm gonna do a couple of things. First, I'm going to apply the Marc Jacobs lip gloss in the shade Sugar Sugar. This is mostly gonna be on the center of the lips, just to kind of give it more of that brown pale nude. And then I'm going to take a small amount of this is the Lip Injection Extreme from Too Faced. And I'm just gonna touch that right over as well, just to get my lips a little bit more plumping. I can feel it already. I feel like every time I think of like a beach, like bronzy beach babe, I always think of obviously beach waves. So I do have an old video of me showing you how I get my beach waves. I've improved my technique quite a bit, gotten better, but I definitely recommend doing like some good beach waves. They're just so easy. These probably took me, I don't know, 15 minutes. So easy, just quick, and you look super glamorous. Definitely recommend some good beach waves, and let me know if you want to see an updated tutorial on how I do my beach waves. Okay, so the last thing that I would recommend to look like a bronze babe this summer is to wear, so I just finally washed off all my tan, and you'll notice that I was actually wearing dark clothes, like a dark t-shirt, wearing actually light clothes, like I have this neon kind of halter top going on here. They will actually, like, whether you're fair, whether you are just medium skin tone or whatever, obviously I'm freshly tan, but wearing light colors like neons, whites, pink, light pinks, you know, especially white, it can really help to make you look more tan, so that's something to consider. It can even be something as simple as light jeans, like in this outfit that I have here. So if you're wanting a little bit more of summer beauty inspiration, make sure to check out this video right here where I do a full summer glam makeup tutorial, and I will see you guys over in that video. Bye!